Hey everybody, so with the upcoming release of the Peloton Row, I'm going to be putting together a full video breakdown to compare each of the major connected rowers as well as the Concept 2. However, that video is still a few weeks away with one of the unreleased rowers still on embargo. But I want to do a quick smaller comparison today between just the Peloton Row and the lower priced Hydrow Wave, because evidently the Hydrow Wave is getting a $200 price increase in just a few days on October 3rd. So today I'm going to cover 8 things that you need to know if you're trying to decide between the Peloton Row and the Hydrow Wave. This is Colin Jenkins with Connect the Watts, where we cover the latest in connected fitness. If this video helps you out, make sure to hit that like button and let's begin. So the first and most obvious difference between these two rowers is the cost. The Peloton Row has a price of $3,195 and the Hydrow Wave has a current price of $1,495, with it being increased to $1,695 on October 3rd. So pretty much the Hydrow Wave is around 50% of the cost of the Peloton Row, a little under or above depending on when exactly you get it, which is a huge difference. Now you do have to consider the current memberships that you are paying, because if you already own a Peloton bike or a tread and you're already paying for that membership, if you get a Hydrow, you will need to pay for Hydrow's membership, which makes up for the difference in price over the course of 3 years. Now in terms of size, the Peloton Row is 8 feet or 96 inches in length, which is huge compared to the much smaller Hydrow Wave, which is over a foot shorter, though it is important to note here that in terms of storing the rower upright, the Peloton Row has everything that you need, whereas with the Hydrow Wave, you will need to purchase an additional anchor, which currently costs $190. Also in terms of size, the Peloton's touchscreen is a much larger 24 inches compared to the Hydrow Wave's 16 inches. In terms of how each feels to row on, the two rowers actually feel pretty close to one another. Now in my initial review of the Hydrow Wave, I said it didn't feel as smooth and it was a little bit more bumpy compared to the original Hydrow, but I believe now that that was due to having an earlier build, since I've been testing out a new one and it's a lot smoother. Though I will have to say that the Peloton Row feels just a little better in terms of the amount of pullback that you get, but it's not a huge difference. Now, while the Hydrow Wave doesn't make a ton of noise, it still makes a little, whereas one of the big differences with the Peloton Row is just how quiet it is. In fact, I don't think there has ever been a rower made as quiet as the Peloton Row. So if having close to zero sound is important to you, that is something that might steer you towards that higher price. Another thing that the Peloton Row offers over the Hydrow Wave is form feedback. On the Peloton Row, since there are sensors that track the movement of both the handle and the seat, you can get both real-time and post-workout feedback on various form faults, like pulling too early or leaning back too far. Hydrow does offer one-on-one coaching sessions, which I have taken and I think can be even more beneficial, especially for a beginner, but those obviously come at an additional cost. In terms of comfort, both offer a very nice cushy seat. The rubber-coated handle on the Hydrow Wave though feels a lot more comfortable to me than the one on the Peloton Row, though Peloton does get additional points here for having a bottle holder within the rower for more easily taken hydration breaks. Now the Hydrow interface is not bad, but clearly not to the same level of design as Peloton's. While browsing and sorting through classes is fairly easy to do on both, I found the interface during classes to be much better overall on the Peloton Row. Additionally, while both services have leaderboards, including both on-demand and live classes, only Pelotons can be interacted with during a workout, allowing you to high-five or follow your fellow rowers. You can do this on Hydrow's leaderboard, but you have to wait until the class is completely over, which is definitely not as great an experience. Now, content is the tough one, especially considering that the Peloton Row is not actually out as of today. Hydrow's classes though are almost all filmed out on the water, which I definitely think looks better and is much more engaging than the studio classes that Peloton provides. On the other hand, Peloton's music and the way the music is integrated into the classes is a lot better than Hydrow's. Hydrow's coaches though are a lot more experienced than those on Peloton, outside of the 2 row specific coaches which they brought on, which, a funny side note, one of the new row coaches for Peloton is actually the brother for one of the coaches on Hydrow. Now Peloton will also be providing a lot of boot camp type classes which take you on and off the rower to mix in strength work, but guess what Hydrow is now offering? Yeah, the same. But Peloton does offer a much wider selection of non-rowing classes, which are more limited on Hydrow. But again, if you're in it for the rowing, Hydrow is going to have a lot more content to choose from, at least for a long time, but probably forever in terms of their outdoor non-coached workouts. So if that is something you prefer, Hydrow's put out more of those in the past 2 months than Peloton has in their entire 10-year existence. So there you have it. I'm not sure if I made your choice any easier or if I just made it more difficult, but at least now you know exactly what you should be considering when you compare these two rowers. Let me know in comments which one you're leaning towards, and if you want to see my full review on the Hydrow Wave or the Peloton Row, you can check those out here. Again, this is Colin with Connect the Watts. Appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time.